ESPN's Shannon Sharpe could not have described Dallas Cowboys owner and GM Jerry Jones better than this. His disrespecting of local sports radio hosts Shan Sheriff, RJ Choppy, and Bobby Belt earlier in the season showed exactly who we always knew him to be, a greedy, entitled, out-of-touch narcissist who will do anything to avoid accountability for his nearly 30 years of failure since the glory days of the 90s when Jerry bought the team. Everyone knows this except for him.
Jerry wants all the credit when things go well, but none of the blame. He told us how many times, the buck stopped with me. Any deal that's ever happened, I either signed off on it or I got notified of it. Now, you getting trounced. You getting run through like Sherman went through Atlanta during the Civil War, and now you want no part of it when they ask you about it. For that man to put that man in fear for his job. Now, you know moving forward, Saturday, Swagoo Stephen A., you know he's not going to ask him anything tough because that man needs that job. And for Jerry to say this publicly and say, I'm not laughing, I'm not joking, I'm out. I'm out.
Jones's disrespect of the 105.3 The Fan host goes far beyond his team's struggles on the field because he perceives any criticism of his decisions as personal attacks on his character and his legitimacy as an NFL owner and GM, which in all fairness deserves to be questioned.
Imagine being Jerry Jones, you buy the Cowboys. First 5 years that you buy the Cowboys, you win a Super Bowl, then you win 2 more. Never again.
Yeah, because after the first 5 years, you think that it was you.
And you think that it's going to happen all the time.
Because you ran Jimmy Johnson off after he won a Super Bowl, and then you go back and you win another Super Bowl.
Barry Switzer, yeah.
Barry Switzer. You think that it's you. You think that you're a system owner. You can plug and play anybody.
Imagine telling Jerry Jones in 1995, hey, buddy, you've won your last Super Bowl.
After yet another disappointing and forgettable season, the Super Bowl drought continues in Dallas for the 29th straight year, despite the Cowboys being the most valuable sports franchise in the world at a staggering $10.1 billion. After finishing the season 7-10 with a final loss to the Commanders, Jones shared his reaction as a local NBC5 reporter, Pat Doney, captured a damning piece of footage from the interview. But before we get to it, in case you're unaware, individual player performance incentives take center stage as millions of dollars are on the line for all sorts of stats like snap percentages, sacks, receptions, yards gained, etc. And teams, as they should, typically game plan for players to achieve said incentives during the final games. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, and others cashed in with their final regular season performances. So with that in mind, let's turn to Jerry Jones's post-game interview. And hey, just a quick break in the action. You should go subscribe to my new show, The Rick Strom Show. I'm going to be interviewing people from sports, music, journalists, authors, sports doctors. It's going to be fantastic. Please go subscribe.
How much did Cooper Rush's contract incentive play into him not playing today? If he
I
played
didn't even know
55
about it. I didn't even know about it until I read about it. So nothing at all.
The sly smile says it all, but nonetheless.
Those incentives are in there for the team, and we put them in there so that if someone is, in his case, as a backup quarterback, has to play, they've got the financial incentives, but they're usually put in there because of the people representing him, and they should be. So he did really earn some pretty serious incentives this year.
The pretty serious incentive Jerry is referring to is this: a $250,000 payout to backup quarterback Cooper Rush, who played every game since Dak Prescott's season-ending hamstring tear in Week 9 of the NFL season, and was subsequently frozen out of another $250,000 bonus after being benched for Trey Lance to make his first start in 2 years. Per veteran NFL reporter Jonathan Jones, Rush entered the final game of the season playing 52.5% of snaps, needing just 2.5% more to earn another $250,000, but he would never get that opportunity. And as things turned out, if Rush played the entire game instead of Lance, Dallas's 75 offensive snaps would have easily covered Rush's total playtime incentive, since he only needed around 65 additional snaps to achieve the goal heading into the game. Now, it must be said that this has nothing to do with Trey Lance, and no one should be blaming him for Rush not achieving his incentive goal. It has everything to do with the coaching staff caving to management's demands, whether those demands were explicitly or implicitly made. Further, Jerry Jones claiming that he didn't know about Rush's bonus and downplaying its significance to Rush makes this whole situation even worse than it already appears. You can't say that the buck stops with you, full stop, and then immediately turn around and play dumb when a real journalist confronts you. But just like every other morally bankrupt, powerful, ultra-wealthy person out there, accountability for your failures is something to avoid at all costs, because all that matters is profit, which directly translates to power. And if there's one thing Jerry craves more than anything, it is unchecked power over people he perceives as his inferiors. Speaking with Cowboys beat writer Saad Youssef of The Athletic, Jones made that fact painfully obvious by digging his heels in and saying that he bought the team for himself, saying, quote, "I didn't buy an investment, I bought an occupation. I bought something I was going to do for the rest of my life. That's what I'm doing." So unfortunately for Cowboys fans, and fortunately for the rest of the NFL, Jerry Jones will continue to put his ego first and the well-being of his players and employees last. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.